Greetings everyone, my name is Greg. In this video I am going to talk about a subject that I haven't talked about since doing internet radio, and that is something that can be subscriber suicide as well as career suicide depending on one's profession, that being UFOs and aliens. Now, I want to point out that there are those that term themselves skeptics. That when it comes to this, they're no different than the religious. They cling to their skepticism as dogmatically as the religious cling to their God and their Jesus. It's no different. They want to try and act like they're interested in evidence. No, they're not. They're interested in maintaining the status quo. They're interested in not rocking the boat with their world. They don't want anything that would challenge their perception. That perception being that we are the only evolved life that has reached the pinnacle that we have. That we're the top. Largely this is an ego defense. And the thing is, it is as narrow-minded and stupid as those that want to try and say about the earth is the center of the universe, or that the sun revolves around the earth, or even going so far as to say, oh yeah, the earth is only 6,000 years old. That is on par with the level of stupid that anyone that tries to say we don't have clear-cut cases of UFOs being observed, interacting with airplanes, and in some cases even having accidents with airplanes. It's undeniable. The thing is, some could be, well, why isn't this on the mainstream media? Well, stop and think about that for a second. Really stop and think about that. It is as if these skeptics really think, that all meetings that are done are made public. They're just having CNN cameras right there. Or that any time the government or even military find out about something, that they are immediately report this to the public. That is absurd. Or to be, well, acting as if they hide things. That's a conspiracy theory. No, it's not. It's called reality. There are meetings that are done with, be it Barack Obama and other world leaders, that we're not privy to. We don't have access to those meetings. There are levels of technology that the military have that we don't have access to. We don't even know it exists. The thing is, to try and act like if the government would have access to a flying saucer or alien bodies, that we would see it reported on the news. Are you fucking high? Have you bumped your goddamn head? You must have. Because you're clearly not thinking like a rational, skeptical person. You're trying to act as if everything is totally transparent. Are you fucking kidding? The truth of the matter is, when Bill Clinton was president, he was very interested in the UFO and alien subject. And he got stonewalled. Same with Ronald Reagan, same with Jimmy Carter. As president, they were told, basically, your security level, your clearance isn't high enough. And you think, skeptics, that you are going to have access to shit that a president doesn't even have access to. The arrogance, the pompous nature of it's all about you, and trying to act like, well, I don't believe it. Your belief isn't required or desired. It doesn't matter. Who the fuck cares what you believe? when someone is pointing out, these are the goddamn facts that have been released, to try and act like, oh, it's a rumor, or it's made up, it's a hoax. Really? Based on what? When the eyewitness testimony is from those that are high-ranking military officers to pilots that are very well trained, that you trust their judgment and their reports in every other type of scenario. If a pilot says he sees something in the sky, and it is something like a flock of birds or a meteor or whatnot, you don't question it. You don't call, oh, that's a rumor. You automatically accept it. But the moment the trained pilot says, that thing that I thought was a meteor made a maneuver that is impossible for a meteor to do. It was doing things that can't be done by a meteor, that it is showing that it is controlled by an intelligence of some kind. Then you want to act like that's a rumor, that's speculation, that's a hoax. That's bullshit. And then to wonder why someone like me will jump down your throat and point out where you're acting just like a Christian. You are. Because you're wanting to try and act as if you personally have to be in on all of the secret meetings. That you personally have to be briefed. Otherwise, I'm not going to believe it. As if your belief is something special. It's not. Your belief or even disbelief. So fucking what? This is one thing that irks the shit out of me with religious people. Because the interviews that I've done with Mark, he has stressed over and over again, what you believe, it doesn't matter. Don't believe in Judaism? So fucking what? You don't believe. Okay, fine. If a God would exist, evolved primates don't believe it. So fucking what? Do you think it would wreck its goddamn world? Do you think it would be wherever going, oh, they don't believe me. Ah. Are you fucking high? It's all about you anyway. That's what this comes down to. And it doesn't matter if it is a God, aliens, whatnot. You jackasses want to make it all about you regardless. And that can be part of the problem of why we haven't had contact with them. Is we aren't ready. We aren't mature enough. For fuck's sake, we can't even stop bickering over skin color or sexual orientation. And you jackasses actually want to have first contact with a species from another planet? Did you bump your goddamn head, or are you just goddamn stupid? Why in the world would an alien race want to come here and have a conversation with some Joe Blow from Idaho? They don't. Now, what could their interest be? There's no way to know for certain. However, one hypothesis that I'll put out there that does correlate with some of the facts that we have regarding UFO sightings and crop circles and things of that nature is this shit really took off and started to happen a lot after 1947. 1947, 1948, in that range. Why? What happened around that time that could have gotten the attention of aliens? I'll tell you what happened. We discovered or invented the nuclear bomb. Nuclear weapons. Could have been where they looked at it and been, oh shit, the kids found the matches. Oh fuck, we have to try and get that shit away from them. They're not ready for that level of technology. They're not ready. Look at what they do to each other. Look at how they treat one another. They're not ready. And the thing is, that could very easily be what the interest is. Because there was one incident that I heard about involving a military base and nuclear weapons, where while a UFO was overhead, the nuclear weapons went from a go status to a no-go. In other words, they went from being functional to not functional. Now, you as the general public may accept, we don't know. But I can goddamn guarantee you, the brass at that base, I don't know, not an answer. They would want a goddamn answer. And they would want one pronto. They wouldn't want to hear, I don't know. They would be, heads would roll. I can guarantee you that base would have been on lockdown until it would have been ascertained as to exactly why that happened and how can we prevent it. The military doesn't play when it comes to their weapons, especially if there is what is regarded as a breach of security. That's serious shit. And the officers are not interested in speculation. The thing is, I've had encounters, missing time, weird shit, that I'll go into in a future video because I don't want this one to become too long. The thing is, I also had a battle with the Army on this subject and was medically cleared. I did what sergeants in my unit thought was fucking impossible, because they had thought when I had my battle with the Army in 2009, halfway through my contract, that I was going to be medically discharged. They were almost certain of it. They would have bet money on it. The thing is, I went into that meeting armed. Fully armed. Unfortunately, I've looked on my computer and I don't have the 10-page report that I wrote. It's pretty much the report that, in and of itself, most of the way had me medically cleared, if not completely. But the doctor that I was talking to wanted to hear about my first case of missing time. And that is something I will go into in a future video. The thing is, what he had remarked regarding that is the level of detail to my memories. And the thing is, and the point that I'm getting at with this, is when I do videos and I talk about what I have found regarding the Christian's Bible or the bullshit that is in there, and I point this shit out, or when I'm talking about thoughts that I have and insights regarding the atheism subjects against religion, so forth, you guys don't question my sanity. But the moment aliens and UFOs comes in, it suddenly becomes, oh, he's mentally unstable. That is called an ego defense. That is called you have no other explanation, so you automatically go to that to try and protect your ego from what you are afraid of. Because what is being mentioned doesn't have you at the goddamn center, so it's a threat to you. The thing is, that was part of what that doctor had mentioned, was the detail of my memories. Some could see it as a threat. And he had pointed out to me where he had asked people of if it would be proven, undeniably proven, that aliens and UFOs are coming here. would it change your belief in a God? He said some people said no, some people said yes. He said one woman attacked him with her cane at the very idea. That's what we're dealing with. As a species, we are not ready. We need to grow up and stop fighting with each other over skin color, stop fighting with each other over sexual orientation, and even stop fighting with each other over different beliefs. Someone doesn't believe something. Wah. So what? The issue is what they are believing. Is it a threat to society? And if so, how? And that's what I point out with Christianity. That's why I am as vehement with it as I am. It is not about, do these people have a belief in a magical man in the sky? That doesn't matter. If that was all that it came down to, people just believe in people just believe in wacky shit, and that would be all that it is, I don't care. I really don't give a fuck. I don't go around telling kids there is no Santa, the Tooth Fairy's not real, the Easter Bunny's not real. If they want to believe it, fine. Have at it. Enjoy. Believe it. Do whatever you want. But you don't have people trying to use that to influence or dictate the laws that are in the country that I have to live in. The moment you try to do that, the moment you try and shove your God into society, into the world, into the laws that I have to go by, that's when we're going to fight. Especially when you're wanting to try to put that in public schools. We're going to have a fight. Now, by the same token, if people would want put into textbooks about UFOs, or even the idea of what is termed directed panspermia, the idea of what Lloyd Pye had mentioned of intervention theory, of let's teach the controversy, I would go, no. Let's teach the facts. It's an interesting hypothesis, but that's all it is. The idea that life was genetically altered by an alien race, it's an interesting idea, but we don't have the evidence, concrete evidence, to back it up. And until we do, it can't be taught. It doesn't matter. The thing is, I'm very much opposed to people wanting to say, when I hear, even with the aspect of UFOs, of the number of witnesses, that's supposed to validate it. It doesn't. I will be the first to admit the missing time that I have had and the weird marks and all that shit, it's not evidence for you. It can, and it is, it does convince me that something really weird fucking happened. I can't deny what I experienced. However, I recognize for other people it's not evidence. I fully grant you that. I also grant you that just because you have multiple people seeing the same thing, that it doesn't make that thing true. I will grant you that as well. However, if you had those same number of people saying that they saw a car accident and that this is what they saw, you would not question their credibility. If they said the car looked like this, the accident looked like this happened, and this happened, and this happened, you wouldn't question their credibility. So why do you question their credibility when they're saying the same goddamn thing regarding UFOs? It is not saying that they're a god. It is not saying any fucking thing regarding why they're even here. Only what the person observed. If you don't question the credibility of somebody's perceiving something, or a group of people seeing something when it's a car accident or a sporting event or someone being attacked on the street, whatever it is, if you don't question their perceptive abilities and visual, I saw this is what happened, and you don't have a problem with that regarding things in our daily, everyday life, why is it that their credibility goes into the toilet and becomes, oh, they're just a crackpot if they mention UFOs? That is called a double standard. That is called being a hypocrite. And if you're going to be calling yourself a skeptic and you're going to be operating in this obviously stupid manner, be prepared to have someone like me jump down your throat and point out just how Christian-like you are acting. I'm not saying that multiple claims prove, but if you're going to hold to the same standard, if you are going to accept their testimony regarding this other thing, why not with UFOs? The same can also be said for the Bill Cosby thing. I will grant you that. The thing is, there is a definite double standard when it comes to UFOs and aliens. Definite. And a desire to label someone as a crackpot or as just crazy. When the truth of the matter is, they can be just as rational. I am just as much of an atheist, anti-theist, and so forth. Even though, when it comes to UFOs and aliens, yeah. I have been, to use the term, I've been convinced from things that have happened in my life, from my experiences. I recognize that may not persuade or convince anyone else. But I'm not interested in trying to get converts. All I'm trying to do is, in a sense, at best, talk about a subject. And if you're interested in trying to shut someone down, you're not interested in having a conversation. You're not interested in learning a goddamn thing. You're interested in, oh, we got to shut them down. We got to stop this. We can't have anything coming out. Because they're too afraid. And that's the bottom line. That's why I will go after the skeptics that want to try and shut people down as hard as I do Christians. Because you're trying to end a conversation, not engage in one. Feel free to leave your comments in the comment section. Later, people.